Sanam, I have done videos, but I didn't post them, and I didn't feel to post them after I had the chance to post them. So I'm gonna redo some of the videos that I talked about and also do two more to keep up with my commitment. And in this video, I want to give my interpretation of Yogi Bhajan's it's not Yogi Bhajan's, it's just 7 steps to happiness. But I learned it from Yogi Bhajan, and he says that this is like a common equation to happiness. And when I first heard, like, on my spiritual journey, I always wanted to be happy. But I found that actually wanting happiness is unsustainable for me in my understanding of my emotions. Always wanting to be happy is not doesn't sound that fun to me. Always being happy, like having the contrast, is what makes happiness so appealing. On my journey, I found that I needed to find peace and stillness. If my mind is always moving, if everything in life is moving, the contrast to that is stillness, unchanging. So finding that within me that is unchanging, still, and peace. That's what I felt like. That's what my journey became about. And so I really found my peace through self-inquiry, through Muji, Papa G, and but I felt like I was lacking guidance on what to do with my life. These gurus and these teachers that were teaching about the self-inquiry and teaching about spiritual paths, I didn't feel like they were householder teachers. Papa G was, but yet I was still felt like I was lacking guidance. And a lot of these teachers, when they had their awakening, were already like had enough life experience to know what to do with their life. So their advice on what to do is to just like watch what happens. At least from my lineage, the lineages that I was studying from, just like let go. And I resonate with that a little bit, like letting go. But I was like 23, 24, now I'm 28, and didn't know what to do with my life. Until I started doing Kundalini Yoga, and I did the yoga teacher training, and I learned about Yogi Bhajan's 7 steps of happiness. Or not, again, it's not Yogi Bhajan's, it's just 7 steps of happiness that I learned from Yogi Bhajan. And the first step to happiness is commitment. And this is really interesting because at first I was wanting happiness, to find the happiness within me. And there is an aspect that is happy, like my soul. But my soul feels more at peace. My soul feels still. And through this body, I can experience happiness. And through these emotions, all of these things that we have the honor of experiencing. So again, how do I be happy? First step, commitment. And it doesn't say what to commit to. And the more that I sat with this, I was like, oh, just commitment to anything. Because the next step is commitment first, and then that next step is character. Your character, who you are, how people perceive you, your projection into the world. If you're a man that can be, or a woman that can be, or whatever gender you choose to be, if you are a person of commitment, it shows in your character. Character gives you dignity. That's the next step, is dignity. And your dignity is almost, in my interpretation, is almost like the pride that you take in being who you are. If you're not a person that can commit to anything, if you're floating around, and you have no character to back up the person it's hard to have dignity and be proud of yourself. Fourth step is divinity. Your dignity will give you your divinity. And your divinity is the ability to stay still, to be unchanging through the circumstances. No matter how hard it gets, you're not going to break your commitment. Your character remains intact, and you remain in your dignity. And that gives you your divinity, and people start to see this. People start to see you. And when people start to acknowledge you, people start to see you, that's already a way that I have found that I'm happier. So commit, that gives you character, dignity, divinity. The fifth step is oh no, totally. Divinity. After divinity gives you grace. And to me, divinity and grace are almost the same thing. Because when you're in your divinity, you're in your grace. And when you're in your grace, you're in your divinity. And again, people start to see that. And people begin to acknowledge you. And I find that acknowledgement is a huge part of humanity, being acknowledged. So, commitment, character, dignity, divinity, grace. The sixth step is the power to sacrifice. The power to sacrifice is essential. The universe likes exchange, reciprocity. If I can commit to doing my practice every single day and sacrifice however much time of my day, it doesn't even feel like a sacrifice after a while. But if I can give up these more surface level wants for deeper level wants and sacrifice some things to manifest that which I'm committed to, that leads to happiness, and that's the seventh step. So I just wanted to kind of say in my own words, one, difference between peace and happiness. stillness and happiness. And that stillness and peace can always be here. But happiness is, in my opinion, coming and going. And you can be more and more happy about your life and about who you are, and that's like infinitely expandable. And then, and explain my perspective on these 7 steps that Yogi Bhajan seemed to make it be like it was ancient. So, Sanam, let me know if you have any questions. I love you. May all beings find their peace. And may all beings take action to be happy. Satnam.